Welcome back to the show, everyone. This is the UK home for Commanders football, and today we've got something big. The Commanders just dropped their brand new 2026 uniforms, and trust me, this isn't just a redesign. There's hidden messages, fan controversy, and possibly even a quiet nod to the past from the franchise that swore it had moved on from. We're breaking down everything on this pod. The Hail Razor black uniforms, the spear logo, what does that really mean? Why fans are divided? And what this says about the future of the franchise under Josh Harris. Plus, we'll be taking your questions on the show. With that being said, let's get into it. So, hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the 1 Point Safety Show. Myself, Scott Hartley, and my amazing co-host, Scouse Andy. How are you, bud? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm okay. You know, a few things going on, but most of it I'm fine. How about yourself, mate?
All good, mate. I've had a really busy day today. It's been one of them days where you just think, God, I need to get out of work. I'm done here. But I'm glad to be chopping up with you. Obviously, after the uniforms dropped yesterday, might have to do slight redesign of our logo, but we'll get into that, I'm sure, as we move forward. Yeah, man, we'll get into talking points first off. We'll talk maybe a little bit about Top Golf and the rest of it a bit later on. But the main reason for the show, obviously, I think they've nailed it. But you can talk otherwise and see what you think. First one is what was actually revealed. So the key talking points, I suppose, Scouse, is the new Super Bowl era-inspired uniforms. We have the burgundy version of that. We've stuck with, obviously, the white version, which we knew was going to stay there. A new all-burgundy primary. And then we have the Hail Razor, which is the black alternative with a red and yellow stripe through the top of the arms and the helmet as it looks. Black uniform now includes a W logo with a spear through it, black helmet and burgundy gold striping, and the whole concept really is blending the past and the future, inspired by the 1980s and 1990s success era of the Redskins at the time. This isn't just a uniform drop, mate, is it? It's a rebrand correction. I mean, what are your thoughts on initially seeing them?
Yeah, we kind of thought there might be potential for the spear, didn't we? We spoke about it a few weeks back and stuff. And even I said I was one of those guys who said, yeah, if you get something like the spear, I'll be happy, you know, because it would lead us back to our heritage originally. So am I happy with it? Yes. Is it a little different? Was I happy with the initial emblem? I saw it originally. The very first thing I saw was on like this red kind of hoodie type thing that was online. And I looked at it and I thought, that looks shit. Like, I was like, what is this? Like, I wasn't happy with it at all. And then the uniforms came out, I think it was later that day. And to be fair, the color scheme looks real nice, man. All three of them look really, really nice. The only thing that, again, pissed me off was the helmet with the W through the spear. Because, again, at the original time, I was like, I don't know if I like this emblem. But I'll tell you what, though, the more I've been looking at it over like yesterday and then today, I'm starting to like it. So that's definitely a grower on a lot of people, I think. But yeah, I mean, but the actual uniform itself, besides the emblem, is fire, man, 100%. Yeah, I mean, I say the spear's a little bit different. I say it's not the original spear; it's more like this Greco-Roman style, and I kind of get it. You know, it's kind of a way of getting the spear back on board without saying it's a Redskins one, etc., etc. It's not about like a Native American spear. It's nothing like that. So I understand why they're going down the Greco route, even though we're not really linked to the past with with Roman Greco type stuff. But but I understand it. I understand that that's the way to get it back without being kind of talking about it's a Redskins thing again. No. So to be fair, overall, am I happy with it? I'm happy that it's back. I'm not 100% on the logo yet. But the red. To be fair, the whole actual uniform is actually really suave. The only thing at the moment is just that W with the moment on the black helmet. But It does look good, though. I'm not going to lie.
I think when it's on the helmet, when I've looked at the black helmet with the spear through it, at the tip of the spear, if you like, at the end where it comes out, I like that. I think it looks quite smart. When I've seen it on hats and paraphernalia, fan material, I don't think it really looks the best, I'll be honest with you. It's controversial. It's a controversial symbol. I mean, the spear is widely designed, as you said. It's like a nod to the old identity without saying it directly. As we've said and you said before, the past is kind of being brought back by Josh Harris without intentionally saying Redskins. He's kind of doing everything he possibly can to bring this back in my opinion, obviously being a fan of the team. Now, the Greco-Roman theme you talked about there, we've seen it. Darryl Green with the spear, at the stadium. Jaden Daniels on a lot of the
that was last year's
paraphernalia last year,
wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And then even in this off season, when we've been looking at things like the teams putting out, they're putting out with the other designed logo, which is the Commanders logo, as we like, almost like the football jersey logo, with two spears coming out the top of it almost. And I thought, oh, okay, this is where we're going. So we've had a few teasers with it, but it's kind of representing a Warriors type leadership thing. But are we walking a fine line here? Because some fans obviously see it's respecting the histories, and other ones see it as a bit of a step backwards. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's a way to show our heritage and our past, really, more than a step backwards per se. I don't think it's a difficult one, because I understand the argument from both sides. I understand that some of the woke brigade are going to be like, no, let's get rid of it completely. You can't go anywhere near the Redskins. You can't even look like it. You shouldn't be, etc., etc. Obviously, the uniforms are inspired by, as you say, the early 90s and late 80s type of kit that we used there at that point. So again, we feel that kind of nostalgia from that. And then we've also got, now the spear. Okay, yeah, it's, Jesse mentioned it's an arrow more than a spear. All right, yeah, okay. But, and again, a valid point, it is different to what the original spear was. But I understand that you can't bring back the original one, just because they will definitely say it's a Washington Redskins thing. And obviously at the moment, it's still grey area. Like, people have settled down a lot from it, from 3-4 years ago when it was absolutely rife, about kind of changing the name and stuff like that. But don't forget, next year, 2027 is when they're allowed to change the real emblem again. Because don't forget, what you got to think about is the alternate one is basically you can put anything on there, any logo, emblem, whatever you want. But the original's kind of like the primary jerseys, like you mentioned, the primary kits. You can't change the emblem on that, you see, until next year, which is 5 years in, which is right. So just look out for next year and see what they're going to do with the emblem again. They might even get rid of this W at that point. You just don't know, because at the end of the day, this is like a precursor to potentially getting us used to a spear or something else, or something very similar to the old Redskins logo. So you just don't know. Is this kind of just put the feelers out there and see how it goes? Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm thinking. But
yeah, funny enough, Darren, who's in here, shout out to Darren. Thanks for being here with us, mate. We appreciate you. He said, I saw a post that said the team can change the logo after 5 years, which is exactly what you just spoke about. So our next change would be 2027. The logo on the black would be the new logo. I wouldn't be too upset. And then he follows it up by saying, not another week of agreement with Snouse.
It's very rare to me, Darren always. It was stay on track there. But yeah, I mean, it just makes sense, though, doesn't it? It just makes a lot of sense.
It really does.
And I understand it from their point of view. They're trying to put it out there. How much will this kind of divide the fan base, or how much will it actually bring us together? So I kind of understand why they're slowly incorporating old Redskins type themed stuff. So I want to see Redskins again. So I'm happy with kind of bringing anything back that comes, shows our heritage from the last 75 years, whatever it is. So.
Yeah, I agree with you. Rod says, I think that they've hit the mark. No mention of the Commander's name on them, but the back to the Super Bowl. And I mean, that was the other thing that wasn't controversial, but it's the Commander's name on the front of the jersey at the top has been left off now.
Yeah, I think it looks cleaner. It just looks a lot cleaner when you look at the jersey, and I definitely think it's the right call.
Yeah, thoughts on the gloss helmet over the matte helmet, Scouse? Does it matter to you? I'm not wearing a helmet. It just
yeah, I mean, I suppose that we haven't got helmets kind of like holding on here, but yeah, I mean, I like it. I like the shinier kind of style of it. To be fair, easy enough, probably more easy to damage and scratch, but I'm sure they change helmets every match, so don't think it's going to be like, oh, you got to keep one helmet for the full season. You know what I mean? So. So no problems from that angle for the players themselves. But yeah, I mean, I like it. It reminds me of the old school stuff because again, that was more gloss. Then days when me growing up with it, it was gloss helmets, gloss red. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm all for it.
Yeah, Rod again. He said the uniforms help us identify the team. Gloss helmet with stripes and yellow face mask into the past.
100%, man.
Yeah, completely agree. Completely agree with you there. Your favourite one then? Do you like the burgundy? Do you like the whites, or is it all about the alternate black uniform? Yeah, what's your favourite?
As in helmet or the overall look?
Oh, overall look.
The overall look. I'm going to go with the red, the burgundy. Yeah, I'd say that's our traditional colour, to be fair. And that's why I always, in my mind, when I'm thinking about Washington, it's always burgundy and gold, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the black is nice, don't get me wrong, but that's been a new thing, you know. Yeah, no, we've had it. It's an alternate, and we've had it before. That's what you mentioned before about the red stripe and the yellow stripe next to the arm on the black jerseys. That wasn't that an alternate years and years ago as well?
I think so.
Like a one season alternate years ago. So yeah, I mean, again, if it looks nice because it looks very similar to that one. So yeah, I say I like it. I like all of it. I say I'm just still working my head around the W with the spear through the same through the actual W at the moment, but.
Yeah, it does look a little bit odd, like it's almost not connecting all the way through. There's like that part where it goes through the W that I'm a little bit like, I'm not 100% sure.
One gap, and then there's like it goes through it, and then it doesn't, and it's just like, what's that? Like, is it actually always through it, or is it not? So,
Jesse says they do keep the same helmets sometimes for years, but they're repainted and inspected each week. I didn't know that, so there you go.
No, fair play.
No, I genuinely didn't know that.
I mean, I suppose if that's the case, then there will be a lot more. The guys who do that stuff is going to be much more busier. To get rid of all those scuffs out of them and stuff during the week. So
yeah, Rod's kind of seamlessly linked us into the next part. He says, "Love the burgundy, but the Rays Hailer will be a massive seller." Yeah, I mean, the key insight for this really, I mean, is this is the closest you can probably get that legally the Commanders can get to their pass without actually going back. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's really tough. I mean, we'll talk about it a little bit now, then, Scouse. I mean, do you think we would ever see the original emblem back in any capacity? Is it completely out? Would you want it? Would you want to? I mean, I know me and you both want to see it, but would it be acceptable on a throwback? Maybe like almost like the Texans become the Oilers. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I kind of understand where you're coming from. I think it can come back. I say I don't think it will be the main emblem. I don't think it will be allowed. I don't think personally, but even though I don't see the problem with it, being honest with you,
well, it wasn't. It wasn't deemed racist. The symbol.
Yeah, exactly, and it's actually
the name.
A picture of an actual real, Native American. So it was kind of. So I don't understand why it was classed as racist, to be honest. I mean, but anyway, I'm not going to get into that too much, but.
The Wetzel family want it back, don't they? They want it back in some capacity. So
even his family want it back because again, it links to their heritage as well.
Absolutely,
So I understand it. It's definitely a sore point for some people, but will it come back? I think it could, but I do think it'd be more, I say, an alternate jersey or an alternate kind of throwback jersey or something like that. I just don't think you'd be able to get it as our main emblem again. But I hope, I hope we can get it.
I have seen the reaction on social media. Some fans are quite split on it. I mean, I saw an article on Hogshaven. They were talking about it being a chunk, but they're unhappy with it without being a full rebrand. I mean, I think this is the best uniforms we've had since it started. I mean, the rushed Commanders uniforms that we initially saw were pretty awful. That white uniform was horrific. The white and burgundy. I have got one in my cupboard. I've got a Cosme jersey with it on. It's just, yeah, that was awful. It kind of looked like almost like something like the Cardinals would wear. I just thought, what is this? The black uniform I did like. You know what I mean? I did like the alternate black uniforms. We saw that firsthand. You've got one of them, I've got one of them as well, and I thought, yeah, that's pretty good. But it's never been the right shade of burgundy, and now we're back to what looks like the original shade of burgundy. And yeah, I still think it's theirs. I mean, do you think it's enough, or is this too safe of a rebrand? What is it? The right rebrand, just correcting the past? What are your thoughts on that, mate?
I mean, I think it's the right level at this moment. I do. It's trying to prepare everybody to go back towards the Redskins. You know, it really is. I think it really is. Say, especially as I said before, they're putting the feelers out there. That's why they've put this Greco-Roman spear on there. Yeah, it's not the original spear, but it gives you that kind of feel of going back to there. And the uniforms, as we know it, you know, they are very, very, very similar to what they were in them days. So we know we're feeling that we're coming back towards that, which is I think a lot of the fan base want. So
yeah, do you think that's a way of Josh Harris like appeasing the old school fan base with new school and saying, well, we're not going to lose the name? Or is this a case of him just trying to say the past is gone? This is new ownership. It's our team now, me and my investors team. It's a complete new era, and we're going to go with this style of uniform for the foreseeable future, and this is our identity now.
Yeah, I think you're right with that. I think, you know, as we know, Josh Harris is an original Redskins fan. Mm-hmm. And a lot of his friends are probably original Redskins fans, you know, from 50, 60 years ago. You know what I mean? So they've grown up with it. They've grown up with what it was meant to be, what it actually represented, you know. So I love Josh Harris for it, to be fair. At the end of the day, because the thing is that we've got fans that have been fans, as you say, as I said before, 40, 50, 60 years, some of them. And all they've ever known is Redskins, you know what I mean? And then you start throwing all this crap at them, like kind of, you know, changing it to the football team, and then, you know, and then moving it on and on and on. It's like, well, the newer fans that are Commanders fans, I think they would get more kind of, they'd probably agree more with going back more towards the Redskins, I think, overall. The newer type fan, the old school fan ain't moving over to the Commanders fans. Does that make sense? So yeah, I think that's probably the reason why they want them to be as close aligned with the Redskins as they can without technically being called the Redskins. So I get it from Josh's point of view. So I don't think it's safe. I think it's actually it's just dipping the toe into the water and just saying, how is that for you as fans? Is that enough, or do you want to go further again next year when we can actually change the actual logo? You know what I mean? So then that'll be another different game. All depends what happens this kind of season, how well we play, because, you know, winning cures a lot of things.
That's what I was going to say.
Increases hat sales, everything else, you know. So if we can, potentially at least a playoff team, you know, this season, then, you know, again, you might go.
That's it.
Still, so.
If we start winning in these uniforms, no one's going to give a shit about controversy or what it's going to look like or what it did or what it didn't look like. I mean, are these the best uniforms we've had? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for a while.
I mean, we talked about the speed. What would you give it a rating out of 10? I mean, I'm gonna stick it in the chat on a poll here.
Yeah.
While we're talking about that, the spear. Yeah, what would you give that a rating out of 10?
At this moment, because I'm still working my head around it, I'm going to say a 5 on the spear, just because of how it looks and what they've done with it. Also, we've not mentioned, you mentioned the crest earlier, you know, the circle with the kind of things going through. Like, I don't get why there's only 2 stars on it. You know, if you go on, there's 2 stars on it, isn't there? Kind of one each side. And it's kind of like, if you're going to do stars in football, i.e. English football, soccer.
Yeah, it means something. Champions Leagues or whatever it is.
And that was the whole point. Like, it was meant you won a Champions League or you won a league title. Yeah, those type things. Now, obviously, if they are going to do it for the Super Bowl, like, you know, for Super Bowl wins, then there should be 3 on there right now, not 2.
Mm-hmm.
That's my only gripe with that. It's like, because, and then you can always make it more equal next time. You know what I mean? You could, if you win the 4th, you can put 1 above, 1 below. See what I mean? So you can kind of run it round as a starred circle as such over time if you start winning stuff. That's what I would do personally with the crest if they were going to put that on something or some sort of nice, on the nice clothes or whatever, the nice T-shirts that you can buy with it. I'd be all over that if they did that rather than just having 2 stars. I know it looks symmetrical, I get it, but it's like, make that mean something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I'm looking at it and thinking to myself, well, it's not even like the DC flag stars, is it? Do you know what I mean? They've got 3. So it's like, that doesn't make any sense, because I could have thought to myself, all right, okay, I get it. You know what I mean? If you're going to put the 3 above it, you could say 3 Super Bowls, DC. You know what I mean? They've done that in the past. Put the stars on the sides of the arms and stuff. I can understand that, but yeah, that 2 stars bit at the top's a bit odd. I don't really understand what that stands for. Jesse says the only bad thing about it is the spear. So you really don't like the spear at all. He's given the spear a 0. Valiant said the new logo looks very lazy, in my opinion. I mean, I can understand that completely. I mean, look, you can see on the screen behind us, we've got, the W, the taco shell with the British flag in the middle of it, because that's obviously who we represent. But I'm looking at this and thinking to myself, like, what's the point in this? Like, it does look like a 5-year-old from MS Paint's done this logo. I hate it. I always have. I can't stand this W logo. It means absolutely nothing to me. With the spear, does it look a bit better? Is it a nod to the past? For me, yes, I can understand where it's coming from, but it makes no sense to me whatsoever. Yeah, I look at other sports teams and think, wow, I was on with a bunker last night, and Keith had a Delran Bears jersey on, and I thought, or a T-shirt, and it's got a bear, and I thought, yeah, it looks smart. You know what I mean? You can see that it's been well designed. That to me just looks like it's a rush thing that some 5-year-old's done on Word art.
I mean, why did they put? On the alternate? Why didn't they just put the spear alone on there? Yeah, just take the W off, and just leave a spear there, like how old school spear was. It was on its own. So why don't you just do that? It's against the alternate helmet, so I'm not going to use it that many times. And again, let's see what it looked like. Let's see what it would have, how the fans would have reacted to it. I think there would have been a better reaction, I think, if there was no W there on that one. That's why I didn't like that when it came up on that red hoodie that seen online. I was just like, whoa.
I know what you mean, yeah.
It just looks like, again, like a 5-year-old's done it. It's like, what's this? It's kind of, but yeah, I reckon. I mean, I think they should have. I think personally, they should have took the W off the black ones and just said, "See how it is." Now they did obviously take off the front, because originally the black helmet had a W at the front of the helmet. Obviously took away that.
Yeah, that was absolutely stupid.
Yeah, it was awful being there, to be fair. And the W, but I think they should have left the W off completely on the black one, and then just have that spear going across, but not flat either, on an angle. You know what I mean? Like the crest is, it's on like a 45-degree angle going up. That's the way it should be. Like you're actually going to throw an arrow. You know what I mean? You're going to throw a spear. It's not going to be perfectly flat, is it? You know what I mean? It's like when you throw a javelin. You're not going to throw it like flat. You're going to throw it like yay high in the air to get the distance. So it would look better if it was higher off, like a 45-degree angle, like head, spear bit first.
Yeah, so spear alone would have been look better, says Yam, especially the matte black. Rod says if they're going Roman Greco, they should be a round shield and 2 spears with an updated W on the shield. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you. That's kind of, if that's the theme that they're going for, then that's the theme that they're going for. That's fine. Now, we've been on here 25 minutes, Nelly, already, and we're talking about bloody uniforms for that long. I did not think we'd last that long. I said to you before, you went, oh, we're normally on for an hour and a half. We're not going to talk about uniforms for this long. We are, mate. Yeah, it's terrible. I know. We'll get into a little bit of news, mate, that have dropped. So Commanders did the usual Top Golf, which is the top 30 visits. I mean, there was 20 prospects that turned up for the top 30 pre-draft visits leading up to the NFL 2026 draft. Obviously, the event took place at Top Golf in Ashburn on Tuesday. This week, those in attendance, there were some strange names, but I'll go through them all. So David Bailey, Texas Tech Edge.
You'll think that one, David Bailey.
Not that one. Not that one. When we talk about the names, we'll tell you. Ruben Bain Jr., obviously Miami. Denzel Boston, wide receiver out of Washington. Chris Brazil II, wide receiver out of Tennessee. Omari Cooper Jr., wide receiver out of Indiana. Mansour Delane was there, cornerback out of LSU. Caleb Downs, safety out of Ohio State, was there. Dalen Everett, cornerback out of Georgia. Romello Height, edge rusher from Texas Tech. Emmett Johnson, running back out of Nebraska. This is the odd one. Ethan Kalimanis, quarterback, Rutgers. Okay. Mekhi Lemon, USC wide receiver, obviously. Jeremiah Love was there, running back Notre Dame. Caden McDonald, DT, out of Ohio State. Arvell Reese, Ohio State edge, stroke linebacker. Keontae Scott, corner out of Miami. Sonny Styles, a linebacker, Ohio State. Carnell Tate, wide receiver, Ohio State. Jordan Tyson, wide receiver, Arizona State. And Dijon Stribling, wide receiver out of Ole Miss. So there is a couple there that I'm a bit like, oh, okay. Didn't see your name on the top 30 visits. I didn't see where this one was coming from. You've got a few scouts, haven't you, that you were looking at before, and you've got a theory of how this all works. Now, we know from the past that Adam Peters is massive on high RAS scores. He always picks high RAS targets, them sort of people. But there is a massive connection between how many times we have met with a prospect into how many times we take it. And we thank, I can't remember the chap who sent it into us. Say again? Ramsey, yeah. Thank you for sending it into us. We appreciate it.
He sent me quite a bit of information about it, a lot of stats about his theory was last season, as you mentioned there, he correlated that the pre-draft visits now isn't just the 30, the top golf, but multiple times that they've brought in the same player to speak to them to all those type of things, and there was a correlation between quite a lot of them where the more that they actually spoke to them in private, proper interviews, brought them over, etc., kind of ended up. A lot of them actually came to fruition as in they actually drafted them. So Ramsey brought this up for this week and just said, well, here's the information that you had from up until Top Golf. Before then, all the information about the players that you were seeing multiple times. So I had to look through it, because he asked about doing a mock draft, and maybe we could, but I just think it's better to talk about it in this position. Yeah. I do think there's a certain couple of guys that I do think just watch out for them on the radar. Now, I'm not thinking about pick 7. I'm thinking more along the lines of your kind of mid-rounders. So you're looking at your third. Is it 4th? Have you got a 3rd and 5th? Is that right?
3rd, 5th, 6th, 7th. Yeah.
So around that kind of mark, right? So now, from looking at the kind of amount of people that we actually saw, we brought in over the kind of off season to interview, hell of a lot of them were cornerbacks. Like a lot more, like 4 times as many cornerbacks than anything else we actually brought in. Now, normally when that happens, you can see us picking 2 cornerbacks at least in this draft. Oof. Just from sheer numbers. Right? That was obviously they obviously feel that's our biggest weakness. And then the next one was D-line, which was actually kind of shocked me a little bit, but I kind of understand if we're looking for Dewan Payne's exit. So it kind of makes sense. So the ones that have been seen the most for the mid-rounders from corner and from D-line, there's 2 guys specifically that stand out. Now, one of them is a corner called Igbinosun. I think he's Ohio State. That could be one. And then the D lineman, he's actually D tackle. Is that Corleone fella?
Don.
Don Corleone. So watch out for those 2 guys being selected by us in the mid rounds if they're still there when it comes to our pick. So just look out for
David Igbinosun's a senior out of Ohio State, 6'2", 189. He's a 4-star recruit. Read you his stats here and what his write-up was. So David Igbenogson joined Jim Knowles at Ohio State in 23, immediately took a starting place in the defense. In 2024, he returned alongside Denzel Burke and Jordan Hancock, helped the Buckeyes earn their first national championship in over a decade. Clear flaws on his tape in 2024, but Igbenogson drastically improved these in 2025 and solidified his stock in the process. He was over-reliant in 2024 on physicality and very penalty prone, drew 16 flags. An inconsistent upper-lower sink threw his fluidity into question. In 2025, he was almost locked down with his blend of size, length, short area quickness, sink, and closing speed to cut his penalty count down to just 5. Igbenogson is still more comfortable in press man than he is in off man and zone, where spatial management and pedal balance is more important, and he's room to keep playing with more discipline and measure his catch as the catch point competitor. In spite of these inconsistencies, Igbenogson is a tantalizing physical talent with ideal speed, quickness, length, and competitive toughness. He can match, redirect, and dictate and squeeze wide receivers against the boundary as a natural press man cornerback. He can play the ball with precision, and he's formidable in support. Yeah, and he's saying he should be projected in round 3, is where he's projected.
Yeah, he's probably he's going to be a third rounder. And I say we have a quite high third round pick, so I do think I definitely think he's definitely on our radar. I think he's one of our locks. If he's there in the third, I think he's one of our locks. I really do. Press man again. That's what Dan Quinn likes to play. I know it's not Quinn's system now, but again, just having a true press man corner will definitely make a big difference for us. We just haven't got anyone that you can do it really, have we? Let's face it, at a high level.
So the write-up on Dante Corleone is he's 6'1", 340 pounds, 4-star recruit. It says here he's nicknamed the Godfather, obviously. Was a standout defender on the CFB stage ever since he set foot on the field. Born and raised in Cincinnati, he has an opportunity to transfer after his 3 sacks, 6 TFL redshirt freshman season, but chose to see it out the finish of his career in his hometown squad. Later in his career, he never quite recaptured the pass rushing production. He was present early on, but maintained a quick presence as a high-quality run defender. True Media, he allowed 1.42 yards per run stop in 2025. Corleone's an incredibly unique architect at the DT position, stout and squatty with stellar mass and proportional length, all of which amounts to superb gap control and power absorption as a nose tackle. He also flashed legitimate power drive and lower body activation as a pass rusher, and he can at least squeeze the pocket from the fulcrum and force centers to call for reinforcements. Corleone's steady regression as a pass rusher is concerning. However, he has culminated in his 2025 season where he produced 2% true pressure rate, failed to log a single sack, but certain truths have always been evident with Corleone. He has close to average quickness and flexibility, and those qualities were more limited in 2025. It says a blood clot issue in 2024 also bears noting, but Corleone has been all systems go since. His profile is an odd front nose who can function as a tree stump against the run, but limited with his gap with his pass rush ability, and they're projecting he should be a round 4 pick.
Yeah. So I mean, again, he might be there in the 5th, he might not. But the thing is, I think that's kind of where I think we're looking for. I reckon we're looking for those two, especially Igbenogson. I really do. Yeah. Don't forget, I mean, Corleone, he's a run stuffer. That's what I knew him as. And when I looked at his tape as well, it's like, well, he's quite short, but I say wide. Space eater. You know what I mean? He's one of those guys.
So then, would you move out Tim Settle to like a 5 technique, maybe, instead of being
Tim Settle versatile. The thing with Settle is that he's versatile. He can play across the front, no problems. And that's what we want. And plus, we've got to be able to stop the run, man, because we can't stop it. Especially up the middle, man. Teams is tearing us up. So yeah, man. I mean, I understand. So I kind of understand why we seem to be quite interested in those 2 dudes. Now, again, it might not be those 2 dudes because they could be gone each time that we go to pick. But again, look for the position more than anything else. I reckon it's going to be at least 2 corners in this draft. There's going to be 1 D lineman, potentially a nose, as you say, and potentially an edge. I think we're going to go a lot of defense here. I really do. So, but yeah, just watch this space, shall I call it?
Yeah, so also about 2 hours ago, or an hour before we went live, Adam Peters had his sit down with Lance Newmark, talking about pre-draft, how the process has been. A lot of bluff and bluster, not really much said, to be honest, but there was bits that did come out of it. He said he's more than likely picking at 7, and the teams are not actively looking to trade back in the first round. But it's obviously, as in the team, is not actively looking to trade back. But it obviously depends on the circumstance, who's on the board, and if they get an offer, etc., etc., etc. I mean, to me, this is interesting because Peters said, the reduction in time for the first round as well, from 8 minutes to 8 minutes per pick down from 10. It sort of forces the team to go ahead on the front end of any potential trades. So they've got parameters before they're on the clock. So it's kind of forcing GMs to make phone calls before they're on the clock, make sure they've got things in place if they are going to do trades. So he's basically saying there isn't going to be much trading, which we all kind of heard. I mean, you got people like Jordan Schultz putting things out saying, oh my God, there's so many trades are going to happen in the first round of the NFL, and we're seeing this. That is completely opposite to every GM I've heard, who's basically said, yeah, there's studs, there's blue chip players in this draft, but they're not at the positions that you potentially are looking at people trading up for. It's not the Jaden Daniels draft class, do you know what I mean, where there was 5 quarterbacks and it's like, okay, all the teams that need a QB, they're going to trade up or they're going to move. This is players that you wouldn't necessarily draft high, safeties, corners, linebackers. They're all talented, but it's deep for a few positions like wide receiver, D tackle. It's deep for corners, I suppose, as well. It's just not one of them really, really flashy drafts, is it, where people are going to do mad trades?
Yeah, I think next year you're going to see that. You're going to 2027 is meant to be a generational draft with ridiculous amount of depth in a lot of positions, if not all positions. So it's meant to be a proper, you could get a high quality player a really low round. You know what I mean? So, but to answer your question, that's just exactly what GMs are going to say in the media.
Of course,
let's face it. Oh, well, you've kind of made us go to 8 minutes now, so we'll probably stick where we're at. No, because we know we've been in the actual draft room and they're speaking to the guys on the phones. Mm-hmm. Those guys are already doing it before your draft time anyway. So there won't be any problems with people rushing and last second trade and all that. I mean, there still might happen, but 9 out of 10 they're going to be all done by 5 to 6 minutes. They always are anyway. End of the day, a conversation on the phone takes 2 minutes to negotiate something. What do you want for this pick? First and a third. Nah. First and a fourth. Nah. You see what I mean? Like, honestly, it wouldn't take that long. So for me, it's it's lying season for me. It's lying season. So they're all going to blag us. They're all going to say, yeah, we're going to stay where we're at. But I genuinely believe, because I think CB is going to be on the list to be potentially our number 7th pick, or we drop, we come out. I think we could potentially trade down here and get ourselves a corner and play a corner rather than actually looking at your blue chippers like your whoever's going to be there at 7. Your Loves or your Downs, for example. And the thing is as well is that I think we have to change how we think about what's blue chip position and positional value. I really do. I do, yeah, because I just think, in the 90s, it was all about the running back. The running back got to pay the big money. The running back did this and that. He was a 3-4 down back. And there was no kind of splits any way around. That changed over the years. Same thing with this. It's now a passing league. It's been a passing league now for 10 years plus. Yeah. So you could just go, well, we'll just load up on our offense. Yeah, you could. But the thing is that you've got to try and stop that. So that's why corners become even more important than even it was. Safeties are becoming important. Safety value should be higher than what it is, because quarterbacks take a deep shot at you all the time. So this is what it's about, man. Like, I think DB is the way I say it. It needs to be thought of at a much higher positional value than what it is, I think, in my book.
Right, chat, while you're on here, put a yes or no, so a Y or an N. Would you trade back from 7? Y or N? Just write it in the chat, because I can see you all talking about it. Jesse says there's only a couple of blue chip players, maybe 3. I don't think we should trade back. The juice isn't worth the squeeze. Yams talked about trading as well. Mike Allen actually put a question into us and said, would it make sense to trade with the Jets if they are willing to pick up 16 for a second-round pick? And also, Rod mentions there's lots of talk reference trading with the Jets. I think the Jets at 16 is a little bit too far for me.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you are going to drop to 16, they better give us a serious haul, not just a 16 and a second. It's going to be multiple picks, like 3-4 picks, because for you to drop down that low, you're going to have to make it worthwhile for us, and just having 1 second rounder isn't it. Now, you could try and say a second this year and a second next year where the generational draft kicks in. Now, that would make more sense. Then I'd look into it, because you can still get yourself a quality player at 16. Okay, you might not get your Delane, you might not get your corner, you might not get, with a blue chipper, but you can get yourself a quality wide receiver at 16. And wide receiver is still a position of need, especially wide receiver 2 status. So now Makai Lemon will probably be there. Makai Lemon came to Top Golf, so he might be there at that point. So again, as Pete has mentioned, depends what happens on the day, what the ball looks like and what's going to offer you, what they're going to offer you to drop down so far. And obviously to drop to 16, it would need a serious haul. It wouldn't just be just one extra second rounder and 16, because say that's you dropping 9 spaces, you're losing the top end player there. You know what I mean? And we're always in the middle, besides obviously the Jane Daniels year and now this year. We tend to be in the middle all the time, so we can never get the blue chipper, but they're never not good enough to kind of trade out of the first and get ourselves some nice picks. You know what I mean? So we've always been kind of shafted in that respect. So if you want us to go back into 16, like the Jets have got the haul. They've got a load of picks that they can throw at you.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So if they really want to come up for a top guy, show us the picks, mate. Show us the picks, and it'll be more than just one second rounder.
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? I mean, I agree with you because, oddly enough, I agree with what Jesse's saying here. He's saying I'd only trade back if enough to get Delane. Yeah, but you don't know when Delane's there or whether he's going to go. I
genuinely believe Dallas gets him at 10. Are they 10 or 11, Dallas?
No, Dallas are 12. Dallas are 12. So that's why I think you've got to go to 11.
Exactly. That's the floor. Like, he's never getting past 12.
Yeah.
He's never getting past 12. So, I mean, Delane or McCoy. I mean, if McCoy's there at 16, you might take a shot on that. You say he's coming off his injury, so he might drop to 16. Rather than he might have been a top 10 player before the injury, etc. So if he's there at 16, then it's worth it. But it might not be.
Is there any prospect scouts that you're absolutely dead set against? Like, I'm not saying let's be serious here, and let's not say, a guard or a quarterback, or no, let's take Ty Simpson. No, I mean, a tight end. No, I mean, I get it. Kenyon Sadiq's amazing. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not saying at 7. But if you looked at if we come out of this at 7 and we stuck at 7, what is a pick that you'd look at and go, oh, Jesus, yeah, that's too much, or no, I'm not happy with that. What will make you not happy? Is there any prospect? I've got two.
I wouldn't say a specific player per se. I think it's just a case of, are we staying at 7? Is that what you mean? If you go 7, we pick somebody.
If you stay at 7. Yeah.
Okay, so I'd say that we don't need a tackle.
No, it's not.
For me, it's position rather than player. So
okay,
obviously, I wouldn't. If Mendoza dropped, I wouldn't want him. Yeah, you don't need a quarterback, right? So
correct. I understand that. Yeah.
I don't want tackle either. Don't need one. My goal might be there. You might not. Fano might be there. Might not. But no, I'm not interested. So if they pick a position that I think that we don't need, it's going to piss me off. No matter who the player is. Does that make sense? I just say they're the tight end. Tight end at 7? Hell no. It's this ain't the guy from the Raiders. It ain't the guy from the Raiders. I can't remember his name.
Ain't Brock Bowers.
Yeah, he ain't Brock Bowers, right? So if he's Brock Bowers, yeah, okay, yeah, I could see that. True weapon, true receiving weapon, and he runs.
Oh, look, I think he's great, Kenyon Sadiq. I think he's
not
right
he's not
there.
bad. Do you know what I mean? So for me, yeah, yeah, Wanda Bunker there picking a kicker. Yeah, exactly. It's all about the positions, man. For me, it's got to be a position I think that we need. So it's got to be a corner. It's got to be, running back. It's got to be a receiver. You know what I mean? It's got to be one of these. But for me, being honest, even with receiver, I wouldn't be happy at 7 with these receivers.
True. And that's exactly what Jesse said. He said dead set against Tate in the top 20. I mean, for me, I don't mind Mackay. I don't mind. Yeah.
If Styles or Tate's there, 7. Styles all day, bro. All day.
Yeah, agreed. the one for me, if we come out with is Jordan Tyson. Just the medical red flags on that. That's what I mean. Yeah, just the medical red flags on that. The knee issues, the torn hamstrings. It's just
someone's going to take a shot at him in the first. Though. Someone's going to take him in the first.
It probably is the best wide receiver in this draft, but he's going to go to the bottom end. So that's why trading makes sense if you're going to go down that route. But I'd be fuming if we took a receiver at 7. I
wouldn't be happy. I wouldn't be happy with the receiver at 7. I say these guys aren't that good. I mean, obviously they're good players, but they're not worthy of the 7th round pick, especially if they're the 7th pick overall. And for a team like us who's got so many holes, like if we just needed a wide receiver and that was it to complete the set, and we had the whole the rest of the team was banging, then I go, hell yeah, let's go for a receiver. But these guys aren't it. Do you know what I mean? These aren't like the original OBJ or anything like that. So it's kind of for me, receiver would piss me off. I say another position of potential that we don't need. So linebacker we still need. So as mentioned from Rod there, if it's Styles or Tate, I'm taking Styles all day long. Downs, I still think we need a free safety. I think Downs is it. So again, I wouldn't be upset. I wouldn't be upset with Love. I wouldn't be upset with, as I'm saying, the positions, we've got a lot of positions that we need.
Yeah.
So for me, you can't really get this one wrong unless you do a silly thing like picking a receiver there or as Bo was mentioned, a kicker or something stupid like that, or a tackle that we don't need. You can get yourself a solid center who can play guards, like a swing guard. In the 5th round. There's a few decent guys out there who's going to be there in the 5th. So let's wait till the 5th for that. Yeah, we don't need that at 7, as in at number 7. So it's kind of all day long, man. Best player available, but of a position of need. So corner, for me, corner's the biggest need out of all. I mean, even with the running backs, you got Bill, you've got Rashad White. These guys are solid backs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Love would obviously take it over the top, but the thing is, it's kind of, do you need him? No. It'd be nice to have him, but you don't need him. We need a corner. Do you know what I mean? Like we need a corner.
Desperately.
So so it's kind of, that's why I'd be always looking for the corner first, really. But
yeah, I mean, Yam says, I know Surratt wants to be closer to home. Yeah, I like Elijah Surratt as well. I like him a lot. I really do. Other news, the last bit of news, really, I suppose.
He's more of a free safety than not. I understand he plays a lot in the box as well. I get it. But, Downs is that versatile. Like, he can do that job at a high level. So don't worry about that. Sorry,
full list of attendees, then confirmed players who we didn't speak about this last week who are going to the NFL draft. It's all been confirmed now. I think it's 16 prospects who are going: David Bailey, Reuben Bain, Mansour Delane, Caleb Downs, Keldrick Folk, Colton Hood, Mackay Lemon, Jeremiah Love, Francis Mawinoa, Caden McDonald, Caden Proctor, Arvo Reese, Ty Simpson, Sonny Styles, Carnell Tate, and Jordan Tyson. Out of that, mate, who is waiting the longest? Probably.
I was just going to ask you the same. I was going to say, is there anybody actually to the second round out of those guys?
I think Hood potentially could be late first at a push. Ty Simpson is a second rounder all day, but he might end up. Someone might say back end of the first, like the Jets, for example, or I don't know.
I mean, people do come up at the end of the first
mean.
to try and get yourself
just because they want that fifth year option.
He's any good. Yeah, I mean, I think Ty Simpson's a second round pick anyway. I don't think he's a first round talent, but again, he might go into the first, as you say. Someone might come up to pick him up. Like I say, like the Jets might come up. They've got a lot of draft capital this year. But yeah, I mean, I was going to say the same thing. Probably Hood,
Folk as well, maybe Keldrick Folk. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of buzz around him.
Exactly. Where's all the superstars? You know what I mean? Like, where's the superstar guys? I mean, I just think about this and I think, mate, Mendoza, how arrogant have you got to be? How arrogant have you got to be that he knows that he's going number one? Like, it's guaranteed. It's written in the stars, right? I mean, there's no, it ain't going to change. You ain't going to fall out of the first. Why the hell are you not there, bro? Right? You're going to go number one. You're going to get the most attention of anybody there, right? Oh, I want to stay at home with my family to enjoy it with the family. Mate, you can bring your family to the fucking draft. You got your nice little room, nice little settees. Got all sorts there. What's going on with that?
I understand where you're coming from, but you got to, dude. You got to look at it and say this is nah. You got to look at this and say this has been happening for years and years.
The number one pick, though. The number one pick.
Trevor Lawrence didn't turn up. Joe Burrow didn't turn up. Caleb Williams, did he turn up last year or the year before? No, I don't think so. Who was number one? Was he?
Yeah.
I'd have to search.
Wrong. Like, I mean,
Trevor Lawrence definitely did not. He was 100% at home. Joe Burrow 100% at home, but it was COVID time, so you can't fucking go there anyway. So it was the virtual draft.
Yeah, that's fine.
That was the Chase Young one for us. But yeah, I think Trevor did it. He stayed at home. There's been quite a few. There's been quite a few.
I just don't think it's right. Like, but I mean, if you're number one overall, you should be there.
I understand it. Yeah, I get it. I get it completely. But I see it from both points of view, mate.
Well, if that's legit, then obviously I'm coming across as a dickhead. But Rod, he says yeah, but his mother's very ill, isn't she? So I was like, well, if she is, then obviously I'm a dick. But the thing is, it's kind of like, if everything's okay, then he should be there. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, I understand if his mum's unwell and she can't make it out there with him and wants to be there with his mum. I totally get it. And that's valid. You know what I mean? But in general, I just don't like it. If you know you're going to go first, like you're going to be there, like first in the draft, you should be there unless something obviously like a family issue like that's kicked in or whatever. But
yeah, I didn't know that either, Rod. So well done for researching that. Fair enough. Caleb did attend in Detroit. You're absolutely spot on with that. Who wasn't? Was it Michael Penis? Wasn't? Yeah, it was. Penis was wasn't he? Yeah.
I think he was trying to find his knee, wasn't he? I think it's Penny.
Yeah, probably, mate. Yeah, he was like, I can't get up the stairs anyway because I've had my 5th ACL surgery. Sorry, Michael, if you're listening.
Unlikely, but yeah.
No, exactly. Well, I suppose we'll get into our fan questions that have come through. There's been obviously quite a few of them, so we'll get through them. The first one is from Tim Towner. He says, in your opinion, rank from 1 to 5 the Washington positions of need going into the draft.
Okay. I think corner's 1.
Corner, yeah, agreed.
I'm going to say backer.
Okay.
2. Then I'm going to say receiver. And then I'm looking at interior guard.
Interior O-line, yeah. Gary Tucker says the same thing, interior O-line. So are we talking guard and centre? We include one.
Interior guards, yeah. So your guard and your centre. And then last one will probably be D-line.
Yeah, D-line, same. I've got them slightly different to you. I would say receivers number 2 on my list, just purely because at the moment we can't be there. I mean, do you know what's funny? what's funny is Jesse's got exactly the same as you. That's exactly the same situation as you. I would go one the other way around. I would go wide receiver, then center, then linebacker, then D-line for me.
Oh, okay. I mean, obviously, you love Luvu, don't you? I just think Luvu's going to be the odd man out.
I think. I understand exactly where you're coming from, and we'll talk about that because someone's put a question about that. So, Luvu, Chanel. I mean, McGee. There's talent there, but once you get out of it, it's what do you do? And you're right, Gary. It's a deep wide receiver class this year. You're absolutely right. Tim's second question. He said, in the 7-round era since 1994, the team that has drafted the most quarterbacks is New England with 17. Whilst Washington has selected 15. Dallas has only drafted 5, which seems weird to me. Anyway, does Hartman as QB3 give you a tingle in your nether regions, or does it cause you to the puke factor of your sphincter to rise? Do we draft a QB, or should we sign an undrafted free agent regardless of who the team go after?
I mean, if you like the Superman look, then, I suppose he's a good looking dude, I suppose.
Yeah.
But as a quarterback, absolute shite. So, I mean, he's only there for JD support crutch, isn't he? Let's face it. Do we need another quarterback? I think we do. I think we do need another quarterback. I just don't think we'll draft one. I just think it will be an undrafted free agent. I think they're bringing a guy to compete with him and to try and take that third spot off him. And again, that could be a rookie coming out, or could be a vet who's kind of got no job type thing. So, but I definitely can see another third quarterback coming in though. I can definitely see that.
Yeah, me too. I mean, looking at it, Garrett Nussmeier, probably not going to get him. You know what I mean? To make a 4th rounder. Taylor Green. We've got other needs.
I think he's an awful quarterback. Taylor Green. I think he could be genuinely though Taysom Hill 2.0. I really do. I think he could be that guy rather than a true quarterback. Taysom Hill was a quarterback, but he realized that he wasn't good enough, and then became a running back and a tight end and all-in-one guy. That's what Taylor Green could be.
Drew Aller, obviously out of Penn State, he's been talked about a bit. Carson Beck out of Miami. Yeah, maybe as a younger guy.
You're not getting those.
I'm not saying that. And the only one that you would realistically think is Cade Klubnik from Clemson, towards the very, very back end of.
That's if you want to draft one in the 7th. I mean, AP's got form for taking the quarterback in the 7th, i.e. Purdy. So, there's definitely history there that you could see a quarterback being taken in the 7th. But this draft just ain't it. I mean, I just don't think there just isn't very good quarterbacks in this draft this year. So
I agree with you. I
mean, Hartman's terrible, but I mean, surely if you can find somebody even on the street, potentially you can take his spot. Give him honestly, somebody can actually take a spot. Like Heineke when he came off the couch. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Like
I know
guy plays. Even though a nobody or whatever. But again, I just don't think he's it. Do you know what I mean? Like if he had to come in because both our guys went down, it's game over. Like it really is. Like there's just no.
And we were getting close. We were getting close last season. Josh Johnson was playing. I was thinking,
look what happened there though for Hartman. Hartman was 3rd string at that point. And what they do? They go and sign Josh Johnson instead.
And then on top of that, we also signed. It was the practice squad quarterback that we got in training camp. Someone in the chat, please let me know who it was. He's played a little bit in the league. Can't remember his name. But anyway, we signed him too, and it was like, hang on a minute.
Wasn't Driscoll? Was it?
Yeah, Jeff Driscoll. Well done. Thanks, mate. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. So then Driscoll kind of became the practice squad quarterback, and Hartman just was not even there.
Yeah, I say Hartman's. He's poor. Like he showed it in his.
Oh, he's terrible in
preseason. I don't understand he's done with the 3rds and 4ths like himself, but yeah, he's just way off. Like he was way off. I just think. I think as soon as Josh Johnson came in, they hired him up and then started him over Hartman, who knew the system inside out, been here for 2 years, etc. To then throw some random dude in who's been on like 15 teams. Yeah, you understand he's a smart guy, he's a quick learner, but the thing is though, the guy's old and busted up, right? And he still played him ahead of him. So that for me tells you that you don't rate him at all, as in you don't rate Hartman at all. So Yeah, I could definitely see somebody taking this spot this year. I really can.
Agreed.
Best case for Hartman, practice squad.
Jesse said Luvu's 100% a starter. He had to lay out position due to injuries, and then he said he's 100% be extended by mid-season.
Well, we'll see, won't we?
Rod also says Luvu will have a great year.
I mean, so think about that, mate. Think about that there for you. What would you think about Luvu having a great year, and then Jesse saying, well, he'll be extended in mid-season? So then, so if he has played a good first half of the season, well, then his contract's going to be a lot higher, isn't it? He's going to want a hell of a lot more money because he's being productive.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, you could get him on the cheap. If you think that you want this guy to be here for the multiple years, why haven't we extended him now? See what I mean?
Depends on what the draft. Depends on what the draft pulls out.
Yeah, I mean, it could. It might be a Luvu extension, in 3 weeks' time, after the draft and everything else is settled. And that's fair enough. But at least then where he's going to be one of the mainstays in the team. Then at the moment, it's a bit like, well, he's on 1 year left. If he has a good start of the season, then you want to keep him. It's going to be more money than what it would be now to re-sign him up. You know what I mean?
It's not as if we can't afford it. Let's be fair. We've got 50 million.
Yeah, but AP's a stinge, though. You know that. AP's a stinge. He has a number for you, and if there's anything past that, he's not getting it. That's it.
So Paul Fiana Turner, who is at having a Radox, cheers, Paul. He's got a couple of questions for us. He said, if they take Styles, where does Luvu fit in as a veteran player then? That's a good point. Because do you think they believe in McGee enough to be the green dot guy? We've heard not non-stop McGee. I genuinely don't rate McGee.
Yeah, but he hasn't showed enough, has he? Let's face it. When he has played, he hasn't showed enough. Now, again, is that Bobby Wagner's fault? Because Wagner being in the way wouldn't take it even one play off. So how's McGee going to get the reps? Yeah. So
Gary says Styles will play free safety. Oof.
Now again, yeah, I mean Styles technically could play free safety.
Yeah.
6'5", the guy's an athletic freak, Styles, to be fair. I just don't think he'll be here. I think he goes to Giants at 5. I really do.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah.
So, but if he is there at 7, I mean, he's definitely one of those dudes you'd be definitely interested in, and he would be, I say you could. I mean, I'd probably play him more backer personally. I'd put him up against the tight ends all day long. That's what I'd be doing with him. But anyway,
do you move Leo Chanel to middle linebacker then? Is that what you're trying to do?
No, I mean I'd have kind of Chanel kind of doing a little bit of both, a little bit of everything really. I don't think Chanel is not really a green dot guy.
No.
But he's a sideline guy. You can make plays, so it's kind of like maybe off ball, maybe more of a will type thing, off ball linebacker more than anything else. But again, he can rush the passer. But I would only do it at certain stunts and certain blitzes. I wouldn't do it on the regular. I'd use him as a kind of one of those kind of surprise element rushes rather than anything else. Because when you knew with, for example, people mentioned Luvu. Luvu was blitzing all the time because he was playing. Well, he was mostly playing edge, and if he wasn't playing edge, he was more kind of like just a blitzing linebacker. But everyone knew that he was going to do that, so everyone was like, "Eh." So everyone was playing for that. Oh, Luvu's doing this. Well, he's going to rush the passer, yeah. So at least with Chanel, you can disguise more with Chanel. I don't want him blitzing. He's not a bad blitzer. Don't get me wrong. I just don't. I just prefer him kind of like, sideline to sideline coverage. You know what I mean? And then just laying that. The kind of the zone plays. The kind of the quick short passing game out to the sideline, stuff like that. I want him making the tackles there, if that makes sense. That's where I want to see him. I don't see him as a green dot guy. So we do need
I agree.
You definitely need one of those. Or if you're not going to have a middle linebacker doing it, you're going to need your safety to be able to do it. You know what I mean? So,
which Jesse says, no, Chanel should not be the green dot. Obviously, Gary said, in my opinion, Chanel will be blitzing. So absolutely
Chanel's so versatile. Like, you can do a lot with him. And that's the thing you see. And I think we should use his blitzing skill for, I say, the surprise blitz.
Yeah, agreed. I like the safety blitz from Nick Cross. That's what I'm looking at as well.
Yeah, Cross is great in the box. That's what he's good at. Big tackler, those type things. So, yeah, I mean, as I say, we've got options but we still have a lot of weaknesses, though, because if any of those guys go down, it's game over. The second team is just absolutely gaff. Let's face it. The starters aren't that bad, but you still don't have the real depth there. And someone like Styles in your team, you could do a lot with him, to be fair. He could be an absolute all-pro. He really could. So it's kind of... he's just an athletic freak. He's 6'5" as well, maybe playing linebacker or safety at 6'5". How quick you got to be able to do that? And to be able to do it well, and he can. That's insane, bro. Do you know what I mean? It really is. I mean, Nick Amon-Wari was my favorite player last year coming out, and he's 6'2", and he's all over the place. He's brilliant. You know what I mean? He's second in the defensive rookie of the year, second place.
Exactly.
This guy is bigger than him and faster than him, and it's, it's like, Styles is a beast. If you can get him.
Rod says McGee has not lasted a season, and remember DQ said the player on the field the most will be the green dot. Yeah, I understand. I'm exactly with you. Gary says McGee is from Dover, Delaware, where I live. Met a few of his family around town. Cool, that's really cool, mate. Nice. Is he
a good guy, or is he a bit of a dick, or what? Tell us more.
Not saying that McGee is it is the future, but we rate McGee. We think he's okay. I just think he hasn't had enough snaps to warrant it. It's a big season for McGee coming up.
That's the thing. Can you have a guy who's had minimal snaps? Because he has, let's face it, he's either been injured or when he's been available, Wagner's in his way. So it's kind of like, well, she's not going to drop a bloody, future Hall of Fame linebacker for a youngster. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of, we don't really know enough about him. I think that's the overall thing. We don't know enough about him. Is he good enough to play 17, 20 games a season as the Mike linebacker who's going to play, I say, 90% of the snaps every game? You know what I mean? So it's kind of, it's a big difference from having 5 snaps a game to 60 snaps a game, 70 snaps a game. You know what I mean? So it's kind of, and that's the difference. That's why starters are starters and backups are backups, because they can't do it consistently enough. So we'll find that out if he gets a chance to play. We don't know about him, though. That's the thing. We don't know how good he really is.
So Gary says he's liked, kind of hometown hero. We all want him to do well. That's cool. Man, I like that.
I want to do well. Cool. He's here. If he's here,
I want him to do well. Always rooting for the team, no matter who you are. Nick Cross will wear the green dot, says Jesse. Yeah, agreed.
Has he done it for
Indianapolis? He did, yeah.
He did, yeah. Well, if he's got the experience and he's good at it, then yeah, they haven't got to worry too much about having a linebacker do it then. And plus, to say Cross is going to be in the box a lot, so he's kind of a linebacker anyway at that point. So it's kind of a. I mean, again, that wouldn't bother me. To be fair, I don't really care who the green dot is, as long as you can actually get guys in position quick enough.
It's fine.
Get guys in position quick enough before the snaps, especially when it goes high up offenses. And you can relay those kind of signs or whatever it is that they do. I don't care who it is, to be honest, but it's normally a guy in the middle, isn't it? It's normally a middle linebacker, or it's normally a safety, because you see the whole field a lot easier. So.
Absolutely. Paul's final question to his mate. He says, how big a year do you think Tyler Owens could have? It seems like he could be primed for a big breakout year, in his opinion.
Again, another thing, isn't it? Another guy, injuries. You don't know how good he is, really. We know he's got
special teamer, always on special
teamer. His RAS score's ridiculous. There's those things, but so he's athletically gifted. But it's kind of like, does he have it mentally, IQ wise? You know what I mean? To really to step it up, to be consistently good. And I just think that I don't think you'll get a lot of snaps barring injuries. I just don't think you'll get a lot of snaps.
Agreed. I think he'll be a special teams regular, which he has been, and I think that's a good career. It doesn't matter who you are. I mean, if you could look at Nick Ballore, you know what I mean. There's players out there who are special teams aces, and I think he can be one. I mean, with his perfect 10 RAS score, yeah, I think, you know what I mean. We've got there is a player in there. There's an athletic freak in there, absolutely. But would you pick him above a Jeremy Reeves? No. Above a Quan Martin? Probably not, but Quan's got a lot to do. Above a Harris? No. Above a Cross? No. So there's 4 players straight off, and I'm not.
And I'm even tempted to look for Downs at 7
Correct.
as well.
That's what I mean. If Downs go, yeah, that's what I mean. Or if
got
you
no
trade
chance.
back a little, if you trade back a little bit, and maybe you're at 9 and 10, and Downs is there, it's it's one of them. So Jesse says he thinks Raz score is massively overrated. I don't. I disagree with you completely. The only reason I disagree with you is because it shows you what athleticism they have. But is it overrated, or is it the only thing you should pick from? No, absolutely not.
I think that's the problem. I think AP relies on it a bit too much.
It does. You're right in what you're saying there. I understand that.
Football IQ is more important than being athletic, in my book. You know, football IQ is the key, because that gives you that extra step. That gives you that extra yard of being in the right place at the right time at the right chance. You know what I mean? And then if you're good enough, you're going to make the tackle, or you're going to get that interception, or whatever it is that you're going to be doing. When you're just an athletic freak, yeah, you can rely on your traits for a while and get away with it because you're that fast and all the rest of it. But the problem is, you do get burnt. You know, you get burnt. I mean, look at Jamin Davis, another stud, ridiculous Raz score, and then look at him out of the league in 3 years. You know what I mean? So
Emmanuel Forbes, amazing Raz score.
Yeah, no brain. You see what I mean? Like you need guys who've got a real true IQ. That's why I rate Downs so well. He's athletic and he's got the brain. Where some of these guys just have the athleticism, and they've lived on that, and they've got through college because they've been that good with the physicality or the physical attributes. There's way more to it, man.
Yeah, I agree. Special teams is underrated. Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, they are kind of making it a bit shitter, I think. Trying to reduce the kind of amount of contact, and the way that the kicks, they're going to the halfway line now and all the rest of it, and this fucking kicking area and all this crap. I mean, just leave it the way it was, personally. You know what I mean? But yeah, it seems part of it, man.
Jesse says they're getting these numbers in shorts and t-shirts, not realistic numbers when it comes to football. And then Gary's said to Jesse, there is some truth in that, but being a great athlete is great, but IQ is one of those things that make champions. Absolutely right. Bingo. And Rod, you're right. We all forgot we've got this guy too, Mr. Kane Medrano. He
faced the red shirt year, didn't he? Let's face it.
Yeah.
You didn't see the guy, So
and Ali Cahoe as well. You know what I mean? So there's a
I like him because he wants to put his body on the line for a tackle. I like
KO. Yeah.
He's got to make sure he looks after himself a bit better though with that.
I know. Yeah,
but
exactly.
But yeah, I mean, it's. I say we've got some dudes, but it's just a case of, could you get away with a few plays, maybe even a quarter, with some of these guys, KO and maybe even Medrano, you might get away with it. That's fine. But if you ask those guys to step up and play game in, game out, they're going to get burnt toast, right? Because they're just not it. You know what I mean? Like, they're okay to a certain extent, and they might hold up for a little bit. But if you need them for longer than that, it's game over. That's why I'm so worried about Alberti being the starting centre. That's why I'm so scared of it. I'm terrified of him being fucking starting centre. He's a backup at best, and even then he shouldn't be in that squad anyway. But
I knew you'd get an Alberti rant in before we go.
I've got to get it in somewhere.
You have to, mate.
The thing is, and it's nice to see these, to have these guys. Yeah, they've got some talent, but the thing is though, true talent, blue chip players, even like the highest level players, we don't have many at all. We're relying on these youngsters to come in and actually become blue chip guys, and 99% of them aren't. So talent wise, we're actually lacking. We're lacking a lot, especially starters. I understand everyone's backups are worse than the starters, and that's understandable, yeah. But there's levels to it, isn't there? You know what I mean?
Depth, isn't it? It's depth, yeah.
When you're looking at exactly. So your depth, if your second stringer could play technically a starting role somewhere else, but then you've got a high quality depth chart. See what I mean? So we haven't got any of that. We've got untried, untested dudes that might do well, might not do well. Do you know what I mean? So it's one of them, man.
Scott G's put a question to us. He is otherwise disposed today because he's going to see his next door neighbour who is 150 miles away and has a tank of gas. Because
his neighbour's 150 miles away.
Yeah, because you can wave. Yeah, exactly. That's what it's like in the Dakotas, mate. Your neighbours if you're 150 mile apart. He says his question is, what's your favourite jersey? That's question 1. Question 2 is, what jersey is on your list to buy next? That's question 2. And then number 3 is, while the name still changed, does this jersey change officially? Does this jersey change officially close the door on Snyder, Rivera, and Wright era? So you can do them individually. So the first one is, what's your favorite jersey? I think we talked about that. You said the burgundy. I like the burgundy too. Absolutely. What jersey is on your list to buy next?
Does he mean like player, or does he mean just jersey color?
I don't know. You can take it any way you want, color or player. You decide.
I think it might be a burgundy. I think I might get a burgundy. Player wise, though, I always like having new guys, but then I kind of worry that if they're a bust. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I know what you're saying.
It happened before to me. You know what I mean? Like, unfortunately, I bought a Haskins jersey, and that was
RIP.
Oh, but you know what I mean? Like, he didn't obviously cut the mustard. So I've been a bit safer over the last few years, you know, with Terry Mark and stuff like that. So I don't know what to do really. I mean, I think it might depend on who we do pick at 7.
Oh, good shout.
Oh,
you've got 5 years of it, haven't you?
You got 5 years of it, and you like to think that if you stay at 7, we're going to pick a blue chipper. I'm hoping, which means that he might even be for a second contract. See what I mean? So yeah.
Well, I love an old lineman shirt, as you know. So I've got a Cosme and a Tunsil in my bag, and I just thought, I've done all right there. Both got extended, so I'm happy with that. So I can't moan.
If you love full linemen so much, where's your Allegretti shirt?
Oh, piss off! I'm not getting an Allegretti shirt.
You keep throwing it at me. Yeah, I thought it's you.
I was thinking I might get a Josh Connolly one. No, I'm joking. I think it depends on who we get at 7. I think if it's someone like Jim, like Love, oh my god, that's going to fly off the shelves. But realistically, I'll probably get a black Jaden Daniels jersey. I don't know, and that'll be it. Or I might get a Chanel. I might get a Chanel or a cross, a burgundy cross jersey. You know, what I mean, I like the look of that. We'll see. And then final part of that, it says, was obviously, while the name still changes, does this jersey change? Does it officially close the door on the Snyder, Rivera, and Wright era?
I mean, probably, yeah. I think it probably does.
Yeah. I think it does.
The only problem is, though, is that the more you kind of go back to more towards Redskins, unfortunately, Snyder's part of Redskins.
Yes.
So it's kind of, do you really close the door on Snyder there? Not really, because obviously if you're going back towards the Redskins, Snyder's going to be part of that history. So it's kind of, but for the other 2 bits, Jason Wright and Rivera, then it does close the door on them. But it might just keep some people talking.
Shout out to Jay Wright as well. He's still a good guy and always did right by us. So I can never.
Really good with us. Shame that he kind of left.
Yeah, I know.
Well, he did a good job for us, to be honest.
And it wasn't his fault. It wasn't his fault.
No. You kind of sit if you find out about stuff, you're thinking, damn, man. Damn.
Yeah. Gary says the door on Snyder is definitely done. Speak no more about that demon. It's fine. It's fine. He's living over. He's living over here in the southeast coast. So
he's hanging out above us, isn't he?
I think so. Yeah, he's talking about taking over Tottenham in the Championship. But anyway, we'll move on from there. Final question is from Richard Cameron. He says, "Hi lads, stadium question," which is a bit weird. He says, "Been reading some recent social media about the new stadium being called the RFK Coliseum to tie in with the new Roman Greco design and architecture themes. Good idea? ? Or will we go for the big sponsor naming right deals? Thoughts?"
I like it.
I like it too. I like it too.
If that's where they're going to go with this Greco-Roman thing for, forever, coming forward, then why not? And I say it does look like the old RFK, and it does have that kind of those kind of
pillars. Yeah, pillars. Yeah,
the pillars that go all around it. So again, it does look more like a Roman stadium. It just looks something like that. So Yeah,
The
I mean,
RFK Coliseum. Yeah, I mean, you can have it changed. I like that name, and everyone just knows it as the Coliseum or RFK still.
Problem is
It'll
the
probably always
Coliseum's
be
owned by,
called.
isn't it owned by LA though? Because like everyone thinks the
Yes, it is.
Coliseum, they think of the
Yeah.
LA one, don't they? But yeah,
So
RFK,
everyone will still know it as RFK, but I'm pretty certain, Richard, to answer your question, there's going to be some sort of sponsor there in front of it. You know, the fucking, I don't know.
Potentially. I think the problem is, depends how much we can get sponsorship for it, which I think there'll be quite a lot of interest.
Yeah, agreed.
But it'll be a case of how much does Harris really want to keep at RFK? Because that's another thing as well.
What is it? What's it called over in? Is it Acrisure? Who's that? Is that Las Vegas or is that Pittsburgh? The Acrisure Stadium. I can't remember exactly who it is. One of them.
I don't like when it starts to come a brand name, something like that. I don't really like it. You know what I mean? There's loads of stadiums like that, isn't there? Not just in the NFL, but in general. There's loads of teams there going. The Green Leaf Stadium, you know what I mean? Because it's a tea leaf team.
It's Pittsburgh, so it's called the Acrisure Stadium. Surely it's Heinz Field, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Well, that's what you think, wouldn't it? Everyone says it's Heinz Field, but it won't be. It's called Aquasol shite. Like us with FedEx, wasn't it?
Exactly. It was been FedEx, and now it's Northwest Stadium. Yeah.
So this is the other thing. We're used to having our naming rights sponsored by somebody else. So could it be that we do it again for the new stadium?
Yeah, I think it will happen. It has to. I think it has to. The Verizon RFK, Coliseum.
The Verizon
that makes sense.
Stadium,
you know what I mean? That makes sense. Yeah.
Like Verizon or the AT&T,
T-Mobile. T-Mobile
Arena in Vegas, isn't there? Smaller
version. I know there is. Yeah.
UFC fight and stuff. But yeah, man. I mean, definitely something like that. I could definitely see it. Like a big brand like that. The Nike Stadium, or
maybe. Yeah, who knows?
Don't forget, we are sponsored by Nike as well for our shirts, our jerseys. So
yeah, well, that's the standard, isn't it? Unfortunately, for the whole of the NFL. So maybe they probably can't get involved in that way. But yeah, something certainly worth pondering and thinking about. Well, that just about does us, mate. So this has been the big one. Commanders have finally taken a step to fixing their identity. Whether we've nailed it or not, that's still up for debate. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Is it a hit or is it a miss? If you've enjoyed the stream, make sure you do the whole thing, the like, the subscribe, turn the notifications on. More Commanders content coming, especially with the draft right around the corner, 1 week away. Appreciate everybody who's joined us live, everyone who submitted a question, UK gang, US gang, everyone worldwide. We appreciate you. Until next time, raise hail, and we will see you on the next one.
Bye.